Bitcoin hoodie guy coming back with another Kaspa video. Can you go ahead and Mike Tyson the like and subscribe button before we jump into this? You can see the price there is 13.81 cents. And you can see right here the title of the video, the thumbnail. We're at 87.5% of blocks using the Rust nodes. That's what we like to see. You can see almost 349,000 addresses right here. You can see no big action there with the whale humpbacks, and it's fun to go over here to cast.fyi, check out the live blocks. Once that loads, you should just be seeing pretty much all Rusty. Once in a while a Go node, but Rusty. So that stage of Kaspa is coming to finishing, and a lot of hard work. Right here you can see Michael Sutton on X posted right here, Kaspa 10 blocks per second testnet is looking quite a beauty now. I think this DAG structure is a better reflection of how 10 blocks per second will look on mainnet. The testnet 11 node I'm maintaining has 25 peers now and only 5% hash rate, which is better approximation to mainnet P2P network. A small teaser for a post expected sometime this week. Kaspa Technology Spotlight. Schrodinger's block and its relation to smooth high blocks per second P2P. As can be seen in the video bottom, we're holding at 124 million blocks mined on testnet 11 during the last 3 to 4 months, each with 100 transactions on average. Offhand estimation, that's 12.4 billion transactions. So right here, updated stats courtesy of Coder Stuff. Mainnet DAG structure is looking nice and healthy. So a lot of good things there. You just got to buckle up, wait for the Rust rewrite to be done. 10 blocks per second. Tier 1 exchange listings. Hash rate's looking good. The network, that's always fluctuating, but more ASICs coming online. Network getting more secure. You can see Kaspa generated 1.3 million for miners the last 24 hours. Doge 2.3 million. And so right here, you can see, I know I talked about it yesterday, and I've talked about it a couple of times, but the national debt, and someone said, don't you know that the presidents don't cause the inflation? I never said anything about the presidents causing inflation, but the national debt, I think, is past the point of no return no matter what administration comes in. They have a lot of programs they're trying to spend money on, and they're going to have to keep printing money. It doesn't, and maybe one administration is a little bit better, but a person also said, but I do think that if you have an administration that's more favorable for crypto, that's going to be better. And yeah, this administration, there was the spot ETF. I'm not sure if BlackRock and Wall Street forced that hand there. There's a lot of powers, but someone said, yeah, crypto doesn't need the United States, but to ignore the fact that the United States is 42% of the capital market in the world, you can see that it's bigger than the EU and China combined. So you can see that if you had having this 42% of the capital markets, the United States is still the most important capital market. So having that on board and that money flowing in is going to help the bull market go higher. The world debt, it's not just the United States problem. I'm not sure how accurate this is, but there's a lot of debt. You can see Japan, for compared to its GDP, has a crazy amount of debt. Obviously, the yen is going down. So basically, my thesis is not that Trump is going to save it or this politician is going to save it. I think the things changing, like artificial intelligence technology, is going to change humanity more than one administration. And I think the national debt's out of control. And inflation is going to keep happening. They want inflation. So the when you have inflation, the debt is easier to pay off, and it's people's wages aren't increasing with that. So it's going to mean 1 hour of work is going to maybe buy you less stuff. And so you can see the purchasing power of the dollar over time has decreased. So that's my thesis. It ties back to Kaspa because the higher Bitcoin can soar and the more people looking for digital assets. Thanks for tuning in. Good morning. Do you think the Rust will be done in 2 weeks? I don't know. It's really hard because it feels like I don't know if you've ever seen the construction of the house. A construction of the house will look like it's completely done, and that last little finishing touch takes a long time, but it has went from 50 to 87% pretty quick. So 2 weeks, there's only 12.5% of the miners on the using the Golang. So I could see 2 weeks, but man, that's really hard to predict. But I would say that it feels like it's going to be close. So it feels like the way it's going, there's just not very many miners running that. So I could see like 2 weeks does feel like it's possible, but since I'm not on the dev team, it's hard to know for sure. But I think 2 weeks is realistic, um, at the rate that's going with very few people. I mean, it went from basically 80 to 87%. So there's just a few, just about 1 in 10 miners are using the Go. So I think that that's really, really a realistic time frame, and we'll see. But well, here we go. Just a sec. So that's pretty much the quick update. The exciting updates, and Michael Sutton and the dev team. You know, they're making sure everything was 10 blocks per second on testnet 11, which is all Rust nodes. And then the Casplex, I think pretty much all the Casplex technology, those partially signed Kaspa transactions, that's running on testnet 11 in beta, and and is running on Rust nodes. So that, kind of step one to locking a lot of stuff that's going to happen to Caspa is going to be to when this is completely, red or kind of that, and the blue's gone. That's going to unlock a lot. That'll pave the way that eventually they'll be able to bump it up to the 10 blocks a second eventually, once they feel that that's secure enough on testnet, and then everyone's using Rust nodes, they'll be able to move that over. And then that's something that can be splashy headline, draw some more attention, and more people. So when I talk about inflation is, they might temporarily get inflation under control, but when you see what they're projecting for the US national debt, that I don't think any administration is going to stop this. And, they're going to have to spend money on defense, pay the interest on the debt, Social Security, Medicare. I guess someone could cut Medicare or something, or cut that down. But, any politician that says they're going to cut Social Security is not going to get reelected or elected. And so I just think that people are looking more at digital assets, max supply, projects that they know they can trust, like Solana. I think basically can do infinite. I think, so you have stuff like Bitcoin and Kaspa that have max supply. They don't have a ton of inflation left, so people get sucked in with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then they're going to be looking somewhere else down on Coin Market Cap. Where now that they're got their feet wet, they're looking at something, and I think Caspa is going to be looking good there, and especially if it can climb up the ladder a little bit, get into the top 20s. And so a lot of exciting stuff. I think the tier ones and all that stuff. So oh, Ron, thanks for the super chat. After Up is rusting tier one listing soon. Thanks for the updates. Bicentric, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I do think that, and because, and I know you guys probably aren't into meme coins and stuff, but since I'm into the dog go to the moon, which is a free airdrop that went to everyone, this is going to be an interesting case study because, there's no team behind it. It was a free and fair airdrop. So all these listings right here, nothing is paid. So, like, I don't know if this is going to get on Binance or whatever, but they're not paying for any centralized exchange listings, and so they don't have any of the tier ones, but it's the biggest meme coin on Bitcoin, and they're not going to pay for any centralized exchange listings. So, the fact that, is that holding Caspa back, or is the testnet 11 gonna, I mean, not testnet 11, but once the rush rewrite, maybe some of those tier one exchange listings, if they feel like they can make money off it, how much money does it cost to have them integrated in there? Sometimes, these other exchanges, have integrated Kaspa in it. So I think it's possible. I think we're going to see a tier one exchange listing this year. So that's all I got for today. Just a quick little video. We're about 87%. Hash rate's looking good. Um, Michael Sutton is posting about how there's going to be, some small teaser for a post expected sometime this week. So, the Caspa Technology Spotlight, and the market's looking pretty good, still going kind of sideways. But once this Rust rewrite's done, I think that's going to open the door for some maybe tier one exchange listings and just the technology improvements of 10 blocks per second and Casplex. So thanks for watching. It's exciting times. And let's see. Yep, let's see what Ron said before we log off. After 10 blocks per second, we should rock the space. By 2030, we should be driving the bus to the bank. So hold 10 to 12% of your bag this go around. I think I agree there with Ron. At first, I thought I might initially just kind of liquidate this bull market and maybe buy back in the bear market, but I think I'm on board there with Ron. I'm going to keep part of my bag for the long term, and I think that 10 to 20% is pretty good. Depends on your plan. Maybe you're going to hold all the way through, but it's good to have a plan now when things are boring and going sideways, because once it gets hot and heavy, the right time to sell during the peak is not going to feel like the right time. And, you're not going to be able to time the market. The best you can do is, and that's why I'm just going to be selling pretty much. I'll be selling in blocks of 10%. It gets up to maybe where it gets up to this percentage, I'll sell 10%, 10% here, 10% there. And, probably like Ron, I think I'm going to try to keep 10 to 20% for the long haul, just because you're not going to be able to time the bottom, not going to be able to time the top. I'm not smart enough for that. I might get close, I might get lucky, but I know that the best time to sell is not going to feel like the best time to sell. It's going to feel very emotional. It's going to be ripping and roaring. Everyone's going to be talking about how Bitcoin's going to $700,000. Caspa is going to be going up to, $25. Oh, thanks, Ron. I appreciate you tuning in, and appreciate you liking the updates. So, well, that's all I got for this morning. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for the super chat, Ron. And stay bullish. And the Rust rewrite's almost there, so be patient. And we're gonna be the sun's gonna shine on Caspa. So, thanks for watching.